Hello everyone, welcome to the 5th Global Challenge sharing session for Geeklist Hack for Good 0.6. For the last around 72 hours, but specifically over 48 hours, each team has been working away on, inspired by challenges set by some of the world's biggest NGOs and challenge partners working on climate change issues. This session we are going to be looking at what some of the virtual teams... Oh. Sorry, can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, Corinne, I think it's on your side. Yeah, can someone type to Corinne and offer some support of some kind? We're joined by some of the virtual teams who have been working on challenge themes of personal impact, public awareness, and building resilient communities. We're just having a few technical issues, which we'll sort out. We have on our judging panel for these themes, we have Sepi Golzari, who is the Sustainable Growth Advisor and Climate Change Advisor for Save the Children UK. Sepi is watching on YouTube and is going to feed comments and feedback back through me via Skype. We're hacking together this presentation as well. But the most important thing is we're going to get to see what these teams have built. We're going to see 2 or maybe 3 teams. We're waiting for the 3rd one. We're going to see We Promise, which was formerly called Learn Pledge Challenge, and we're going to see Sloop. So we will start with We Promise, where we've got several of the team members who are going to present here. We've got James, we've got Tom, and we will hopefully have Corinne back as well. And Marvin is on your team as well. Is that right?
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So James, over to you. Tell us about the challenge you were tackling, and introduce yourself and your team and what you've built.
Sure. Great. Thanks very much, Dan. So yes, we're going to show you and talk to you about the app that was formerly known as Learn Pledge Challenge. It's We Promise now, and it's a collaboration between myself, Tom Gallagher, who's going to speak to you later, Corinne Pritchard, Marvin, who's also on the call but isn't going to speak, and Greg Weiss, who's in the US, plus Pavel, who hopefully will join us, but may not be able to right away. What we hope to do is just quickly run through what it is, why we took this approach to solving the challenge, which was the Personal Impact Challenge posted by Save the Children. Then we'll show you the demo, how it works, and talk to you a little bit about the thinking behind the design, and then round off with our future plans, which we have a few of, and we're quite excited about where we can take it. So, what is it? In brief, We Promise is a web and mobile-based service which really challenges people to pledge climate-friendly behaviours in what's hopefully a creative and fun way. Soon, we'll also enable people to challenge their friends to make their own pledges, and in future compete in groups to scale their impact. These pledges could include everything from extreme cycling challenges to energy-friendly DIY. It incorporates donating to your chosen charities, and even getting a bit more politically involved and making your voice heard. So why do we choose this approach to solving the challenge? Well, we're not professional campaigners, but I guess we're all concerned citizens in a sense, and we've all got some experience of having conversations in our own social networks. So we had this instinctive sense of our audience, which is primarily young, people with some awareness of the problem of climate change, but basically disengaged from any of the personal lifestyle changes and any of the personal or political solutions being tried. So at the heart of We Promise is a kind of response to that. We want to try and create engagement and excitement at overcoming a challenge. So it's all about the way we frame the issue, and the response is in a fun and kind of engaging way. The reason for that is we think one of the reasons this audience struggles to start and sustain kind of climate-friendly behaviors is there's often little emotional reward for trying a new behavior or even getting started. It's often a bit difficult. Sometimes it doesn't feel right. You're probably not going to continue with it under those circumstances. So we are trying to help with that, basically. And to guide our design, we did do a little bit of research into our audience. We tried to understand what their motivational values were, to think what kind of pledges or actions would actually appeal to this audience. And the kind of things we hit on were being successful and being seen to be successful, kind of socially, keeping up with new trends, following and sharing in celebrity, and winning and challenging yourself. So we kind of tapped into some of those motivations with We Promise, as you'll see in a minute. And we try and help people start and maintain a new behavior by a few psychological motivators. An element of kind of peer pressure and social reward, having your friends challenge you to do something. An element of tracking and monitoring your progress, and an element of affordance, seeing your friends succeed at doing something new, which makes it look a lot easier than you might have thought at first. So that was the kind of rationale behind what we designed and built. And I'll leave it there and hand over to Tom, because I'm sure you're dying to have a look at actually what it looks like.
Hi everyone, my name is Tom Gallagher, and I'm part of the team for We Promise. Thanks very much, James, for that wonderful introduction. I'm now going to show you the actual website itself. Hopefully I'll be able to screen share, and you'll be able to see exactly what I see. If someone could just give me a thumbs up when that's happening, that would be great.
Yeah, I can see myself. Okay.
Cool. Okay, so this is the website. It's wepromi.se, which is a nice, cool Web 2.0 type name. And here you can see the front page, which also doubles up as the Make a New Pledge page. The idea about this page is that we can show people some reasons why we're doing this. There's a tab, What's This About?, which will introduce the idea to people. We also plan to extend this tab into more of a learning resource. We can put some videos like the one from 350.org that really kind of encapsulate all the biggest climate change problems in a very small, easy to digest video for people who don't necessarily have that much time or know much about climate change, me included actually, when we first started this project. And once people find out how serious a problem this is, then we can then move to the pledge mode, which is where they enter their details. So I'm going to start a new pledge. I'm going to enter my email, which will be the email address that notifications get sent to from the system to remind me to do my pledge. I'm going to make a difference by cycling to work instead of getting a taxi. Because we all know that will reduce emissions. And when will I do this? I'm going to pledge to do this for the next month, so let's say 15th of October. My forfeit, if I fail, I will eat my hat. And I don't really wear hats, but I'm sure I can find one if I do need to do that. So here I will make the pledge, and there you go. My pledge now exists. Tom Gallagher is going to cycle to work instead of getting a taxi. We have a share link here, so I can share that to my social network and tell people a little bit about why I'm doing this this particular activity, and hopefully get some more traffic into We Promise. We have some of our friends who have actually already pledged to take part here. We haven't actually had time to upload them, but we've had their profiles sent through to us. Here's Ed. He pledges to walk or cycle to work 4 days a week, come rain or shine. And if Ed doesn't do that, then his challenge will have failed, and he will march around Central Park in my underpants alone in a one-man protest with a giant banner saying "It's getting hot in here." And there you can see Ed having not cycled to work, holding a sign in front of himself in a very strategic position. We also have this app on a Windows mobile phone app as well. Pavel has been working on that, and he is ready to submit that to Microsoft for review. He was working very hard with the Just Giving API, as he's a developer with Just Giving. And you can see here the screenshots from the Windows mobile simulator. Very similar to the website. You just enter your pledge details, and it talks to the API, which is all live and working on the wepromise.se domain name, and that will create a pledge in exactly the same way as the website, so that people can take part on mobile phones. There's one other aspect which is worth showing on the home page, and this is the part that Marvin was working on mostly. This is actually a full integration with the Just Giving API down here, so we can highlight climate change charities and show more of their work here. We can also pledge directly through Just Giving to any of these charities, and that will take people off to the Just Giving Simple Donations API and allow them to just give money instantly to any of the charities. We also want to work this down the line into something which will allow people to bind the charity with a forfeit. So with that, I'd like to hand you back to James. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to answer some of your questions later on.
Cool. Thanks, Tom. So I'll just say something very quickly about the design. I don't know if Corin's going to be able to join us. Say hi, Corin, if you can, or maybe you're still muted. Well, anyway, yes.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Hello.
Right. So over to Corin just to explain a little bit about the thinking behind the design.
Absolutely. So you've seen Tom's shown you around the website. There's several aspects of the design. First is the logo, which we had quite a lot of discussion about, mostly around the globe and how we had to show everything, including Australia, which was quite a difficult prospect. But I think we've managed it, more or less. And the shape of the W and the M and how they put together, and it's like two fingers kind of reaching across the earth to touch, which is quite a sweet idea, I think. But some of the things that I kind of wanted to talk about is the way that we're kind of trying to engage this particular audience, which is the really kind of go-getting, adventurous, not usually engaged in the climate change debate type of person, by kind of capitalizing on things like the Ice Bucket Challenge kind of motif, and adding this little kind of failure aspect to it, so that no matter what you do, whether you succeed or you fail, you're still raising awareness, but also incidentally you are promoting yourself, which in this world of Instagram and Vine and various other things is increasingly important. And we want to kind of make sure that real, that rich media is really at the center of this. We do need to kind of develop it as an idea a little more before we get to that stage, but we want people to be able to add video and photos and everything to make it a really rich experience that they can then integrate with their existing networks on Instagram and Twitter and all of those different ways that people are communicating now. And we just kind of wanted to make sure that that was there and could keep bringing people back. We've got a lot of plans for the future, which we, in the small time frame that we had of 48 hours, we couldn't manage to do. But we have a whole idea around challenging friends and getting them to challenge you back, and making it a very kind of tit for tat. You do this, I do this. You know, topping each other kind of competition. motive as well, and we think that that will add a kind of a really good hook to it, and will help it kind of reach the kind of status that it needs. I think James will tell you that we already got asked if we could cope with 1 million pledges, and I think that we can safely say that we can, but we would like to do more work to enable it to keep going and reach 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. So I'll hand you back to James now.
Thanks, Corin.
Actually, Sepi had a question. She's just watching the video on YouTube right now. I think you may have just actually covered this right now, Corinne. But her question was, is there anything that you can do to help raise the ambition of the pledges? How can it encourage people to ramp up their pledges and actions?
I think that we've actually already got a mechanism in place for that, because we are displaying the pledges down the right-hand side, and one thing that they are is a motivation to see them and then one-up them. We've also got a future plan to add a little bit of zest to the pledging process. We're going to have some suggestions in there, and the wilder and the wackier the better, but we're also looking towards some more kind of gambling motifs, in that you could roll the dice and it will give you a random challenge, and the bank of challenges will just grow and grow as other people do challenges, and hopefully just become a really viable competition.
Worth noting as well that we've got some suggested pledges on the site. We didn't show you that, but we're kind of flagging what we think are meaningful, like pretty adventurous and ambitious pledges to make, just to give people inspiration. And as Corin says, we'll improve on that in the future. Shall I just say one quick thing to round off?
I just better say Sepi has said, tell them I think they're incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
Wow, thanks, Sepi. I thought there was going to be but.
Thanks, Sepi.
That's cool.
Thanks very much, Sepi. Really appreciate it.
Well,
I hope you feel well soon, by the way.
Cheers.
Yeah, get well soon.
We have a working document on our project card as well, which has had a lot of work put into it, if anyone wants to check that out.
Yeah, please do read that, because one of the next things I was going to say is we want to share this widely. I'm going to share it with Friends of the Earth and DEC and as many of the charity partners involved in Hack for Good as we can to get their feedback. The doc, as Tom says, includes all our thinking behind the motivations, the design, and it's all there for you to comment on, and we'd really value that. We kind of want to get this out as soon as we can, because obviously Climate Week is coming up pretty soon, and there's a huge opportunity there to create some critical mass and help some of the campaigns which are already doing a great job, like 350.org or the People's Climate March. So with that in mind, we're ready to kind of put our foot back on the accelerator and get this out there in the best shape we can. And by the way, yeah, I should just say those people, you saw Ed, he's a real person, he's a friend. We've got a load of other people lined up ready to do this as well, so once we've done this judging, we're going to get it out there on our own networks and get people signed up, start the ball rolling. So I guess that's it, unless Tom or Corin have anything to add.
Or Gregory, who's joined the channel but has been muted for now. He's our American partner, who has been doing the night shift for us while we've all been sleeping like logs.
This is the one advantage the distributed teams have, I think.
Yes.
All right, we better move on because we've got one more great team to see. Thank you, all of you from We Promise. Thanks all for joining, and what an incredible project. It's one that really we can all help push and help that take off, and it could be something that makes an impact really quickly. Fantastic. Yeah. So we're now gonna move on to Tom, who is in Louisiana, and is going to show us a project called Sloop. Hi, let me bring on audio. Hi Tom, how are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, recovering from the weekend.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Lots of inspiration.
So I'm alone, I guess. No one else from the team is going to join, but that's okay. I'll just talk about the project real quick. So
Introduce us to your team, Tom, as well, if you would.
What was that?
If you would introduce us to the team as well, that would be wonderful, and where in the world they are.
Okay, yeah. So I joined a team in Nairobi, and the team. Actually, I've got the page up. Do you want to put me up on screen? Because I'm sharing.
Yeah, if you unpress screen share, do you have a webcam?
No, I don't.
Oh, sorry, you want us to see your screen, so press screen share again. You were already up on air.
Am I? Because all I see on my screen is you. So that's fine. If everybody sees my screen, that's cool. So the team was in Nairobi. I came on and started leaving comments about the project. Didn't hear a lot from the team, and so I just, started Friday night or Saturday morning, really, after the kickoff. I just decided to start working on the project and hope that I would get together with the team. And so the project is to build a to-do app that gives you, at the time it was 4, now it's down to 3 simple environmental tasks to complete on a daily basis. And then there's leaderboards, and we've had some other ideas along the way. So I began working on the website, and this is what we came up with. This is based off a design that they came up with in an Android app that they built, and I'll show that to you in a second. And the idea is that you come to the website, you can log in. All 3 of these social sites are integrated. You can log in with any of them. You can also just sign up as a regular member if you like. You don't have to use any of the socials. I'm going to go ahead and connect with Twitter. And so when you log in, you're presented, and I've already completed them all. Let me uncheck them real quick. Okay, you're presented with daily challenges, and so right now I've got some pretty silly challenges in here. Although planting a tree isn't so bad, but maybe exhaling less CO2 isn't such a good one. And unplugging your neighbor's TV, that's probably not a great idea. This is a good idea, though. We should all eat a little less meat. But you can see here you're presented with daily challenges, and you simply check them off. And when you check them off, you get the chance to tweet about it. We're going to add, sharing with other networks in here as well. But I can tweet it, and it'll actually it just did that. So that's now on my Twitter. And so that's how you complete challenges. And then we can come in and check out the leaderboards. The leaderboards are broken up by division. And actually, I should talk about that for a second. So the whole thing is regionalized. The challenges that I saw when I came in here are challenges for the United States, and every region has their own set of challenges because we know that what needs to be done in one area isn't necessarily effective in another. So we broke that up from the beginning so that different areas can be presented with different challenges, and of course, some challenges can go to all areas. So planting a tree, that's probably something that would work across the globe and could be listed in all of the different challenge areas. So I'll come back to the leaderboards. I'm going to go ahead and click United States because that's really the only area we've had done any testing in. And so this is what the leaderboards look like. You can see, yesterday I led the way with 40 points. My girlfriend led the way with second place with 30, tied with admin, and Stacy came in and played around with our app a little bit too. So, and you can just click on any of the names, and it shows you their personal profile, how many total points they've earned, and it breaks down their completed challenges, what they completed on a day-by-day basis, and how many points they earned. I didn't talk about points. So each challenge is actually worth a different number of points, right? These are all worth 10, but we can set how many points each challenge is worth. So something like planting a tree, which might be a little bit more difficult, might be worth more. Certain challenges just might be worth more points, and so we can kind of, incentivize, harder challenges with more points, and that just gets you more points on the leaderboard, so that you can, be in first place. The leaderboards right now are only regional. We want to have global, and we also want to, come up with ways to share this, maybe widgets that people could put on their web pages beyond just, obviously some social links for sharing would be good, but, ways to maybe kind of like what Geeklist is doing with widgets, where you could just put a widget on your website and maybe it displays your latest completed challenge, maybe it displays your total points, but that sort of thing is kind of the idea. So let's see here. I can invite friends, and right now this only works with Twitter, and even that we're having some issues, but you can see here it pulls my friends list, and this is all working, but when I try to invite someone right now, for some reason, I'll just read this. It says, this request looks like it might be automated, and clearly it wasn't. To protect our users from spam and other malicious activity, we can't complete this action now. Please try again later. So I've contacted Twitter. I've given them the link to the site and asked them to look into it. It's obviously not automated, and hopefully they'll be able to get back to me so we can get that working. But once Twitter gets it fixed on their end, then people can invite people via the Twitter interface, and that actually sends people a direct message on Twitter asking them to invite. You can actually edit the message here that it's sending, so you can change it to say whatever you want, and that saves it for future. If I change it here and then come back tomorrow, it'll still be here saved. So that's, for the most part, that's the front end of the website. I'm going to go ahead and log out real quick and just show you one other part. If you log in as the admin, you get this extra little drop down here, and I've got to work with these colors, but it allows you to edit the regions, so we can open up this whole thing to additional regions and more areas of the world as we find challenges to present to those regions. And we're actually working on that. Ian, who thought of the project, he is compiling lists of these challenges with actually some interesting stats that I wasn't aware of at first. In addition to the points, he's got some information on what each of these challenges will save in terms of energy, or how it's really making a difference for climate change, what it's really doing, and that might boil down to how many tons of CO2 you're saving if you're taking a plane trip, or it might boil down to something a little bit simpler, like you're saving 10 watts of electricity or something. But we're hoping to be able to add that and incorporate that in with these challenges. So he's compiling that list, and so then this is our challenges page, and it's called tasks here because that's what it was originally called. I actually just recently changed it to challenges. But the idea is you can come in and you can type in whatever the challenge is, and choose what region it's for, and then how many points it is, and then that fourth piece of data that I'm hoping that we can add is how much of what you're saving, how many watts of electricity, how many tons of carbon CO2, or it may not even be a unit of measurement. It may just be something that's that in some way that you're helping. So then we hit save, and now that challenge is available for anyone that's registered in Canada to complete. And that's pretty much it. That's what we got done. Oh, wait a minute. No,
I was just showing on the screen as well my view of your Twitter feed, which shows your impressive achievement from the last Hack for Good, as well as I can see some good Sloopy tweets going out there and calling other people to action.
Exactly. There you go. There's that. And if you put my screen back up real quick, I'll just show the Android app that they came up with. And I think it's important for me to say they built this. I got a lot of the website done, about half of what I just showed you done before any communication with the team. So they came to me and said, hey, yeah, we built this Android app, and it's using this back end, that back end as a service out there, and da-da-da-da, and then they looked at my website and decided they were going to dump the Android app, start all over again, and use my API. Because that website is completely, it's a one-page app that's talking to an API on the back end. So that API is completely ready to power any other device, be it an Android app or an iPhone app or whatever. So they're going to rebuild this app and talk to the API that I built, but I would imagine that's going to look a lot the same of what I'm about to show you here. So this is kind of the home page that they came up with in their app, and then I've got another screenshot here of what they envisioned the task page looking like, and that's pretty much it. But they had built an Android app, but unfortunately they're at least going to start over from the perspective of how the app is getting its data. I would assume that they would build upon the app that they already started. I mean, the app and the website are completely open sourced and on Git's repos.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Sepi's just a couple of minutes behind us. She says, so far based on what she's seen, very thought through, having different challenges in different areas. It's very, very well thought through. She likes the leaderboard between the different regions. She says good thinking about that. Again, no buts.
Yeah, we like the other team. We got more ideas to add upon. I mean, I don't think any website is ever done. That's how I've kind of always been a web designer. You're never done building a website. You're always adding to it. So we've got all sorts of ideas to pump into this thing. It's just a matter of continuing on.
Yeah, it's amazing how much you've achieved and how much of it you've thought through just in this 2 days.
Thank you.
It's really brilliant. I know who was I presenting with this morning? One of the other charities, the check-in system. Too many things for me to remember. Sorry, just a sec.
Yeah, I don't know how you keep up on top of all of this at all.
WeForest. It was WeForest, and their vision is for every action you take, in basically everything you do, they plant a tree. So I'm sure it feels like there could be some tie-in there with every time someone checks something off their list, you could actually connect that up with some kind of other action that automatically takes place, maybe sponsored by another company or something like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that idea, and I think that could tie in with the previous group too. I mean, when the challenge is completed, when they get through a challenge, is there any way that you guys have for like when someone completes a challenge, do they come back and say I'm done? I know I'm kind of crossing the two groups here, but I mean that would be, I think that would tie in with them as well. That's cool.
Any comments from the other team?
Can you link they have been commenting over on the right. Can you link the
Sorry.
The WeForest thing?
Yes, I'll send you a link after we've finished the session.
Sorry to Sepi, we've been just chatting with Tom by typing, not verbally. So yes, we're definitely up for collaboration. In short.
Sepi asks, what's an API?
An API is it's a standalone. It stands for Application Programmers Interface or Programming Interface. So an API is basically an interface that a computer program can talk to and do things. So the API for Sloop has services like sign up, log in, completed challenge. For the admin, it has services like add a region, add a challenge, those kinds of things. And so the API doesn't have any graphical interface at all. It's completely text going back and forth to talk to a program. And so the idea behind the APIs is that you decentralize, you decouple all of that logic from your app, and now the front end of your app can take many different forms and talk to the same API. And it's about reducing programmers' work, in my opinion. We came up with APIs just so we wouldn't have to do so much work.
I guess it's one of the things that really enables teams around the world to work with each other, because you've got separate pieces and you just need to connect them up.
Right. So now a web developer can talk to the API and continue to work on the website that I built. They don't require any knowledge of the back end, MongoDB and Node.js and Express, any of that. All we need is a front-end AngularJS developer, and they can work on the front end of the website. And likewise, all we need is an Android and an iPhone developer, and they can build out apps for those platforms that talk to the same API. Oh, I should mention the API has sockets built in, but I didn't take advantage of them. I'd like to. I just didn't have time to do anything with the website. But the idea is, I mean, you could be sitting on the leaderboard, and if somebody completes a challenge, it could change in real time in front of you. I wanted to get that built in, but I had so many ideas to do and so little time. I actually started I didn't even show that, but on the personal profile page, there's an add friend link. So you can, I wanted to build kind of a social platform within the website, not just about inviting your external friends, but making friends inside the website too. And you know, we could do things like challenge your friends, you know, on the website to do as much as you did, or to complete the same tasks you did, or complete a certain task. You know, maybe that 100-point plant a tree task. I challenge you to do that, that type of thing.
I think that's where this thing has really great potential to link up with WePromise, because adding that, it would just add that extra element of challenge to it, and the competition would just be through the roof if we could kind of implement a similar system or work with these guys to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that there could be some collaboration. As I was watching your presentation, I'm thinking, man, we should get together. There's a lot in common we have.
All right, guys. So we're just about at time. Yeah, Sepi is completely agreeing that she thinks that the two of you complement each other really well. So I'll work with Sepi to you know, kick her IT department in the butt and get things fixed. So that on Wednesday you can have some. Well, if she decides one or the other of you are worthy to get through to the next round, then you'll get a chance to get some face-to-face feedback with her as well. So we'll leave Sepi to deliberate, and we'll announce the results, and I'll let you all know about the result within a few hours. So we're just about to move on to our next session, which is extreme water impacts and intense heat impacts, two challenges combined. And we have on the judging panel there the King Tide project people, so that will be on the same YouTube channel that we're on here. So everyone in both teams, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Sepi.
Bye.
Thanks,
Sepi.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.